Yes, it is time for another Gobbet opus. This one is number 84. It was written December 24th, 2008, and has the wonderful title, Unintended Goodness. I actually got out of the house today, and then there was the work to be done, the joy of a good infection. I sometimes feel a titch guilty over how much fun I have at work, since part of the enjoyment is derived from the fact that some poor unfortunate has to get a disease odd or interesting enough to warrant an infectious disease consultation. I usually get called to see all the weirdness. Today was something I have not seen for a while, a Streptococcus pneumoniae pneumonia. The odd thing about it was the organism was intermediate in susceptibility to penicillin G. Resistance to pneumococcus has two flavors. Intermediate, where the MIC, mean inhibitory concentration, to penicillin is between 0.1 and 1. And resistant is MIC greater than or equal to 2. If you're going to be taking your internal medicine boards, pay attention. You need to know that. These have different mechanisms, where the intermediate strains have DNA point mutations that have led to a slight increase in the MIC to penicillin. The more point mutations, the higher the MIC. It is why the mean MIC to penicillin for strep pneumonia has been slowly going up over the last 50 years. Resistant strains have acquired a new chunk of DNA that leads to complete resistance to penicillin, which is an interesting story for another day. Yet here's another cool thing, an endless list of cool things of infectious diseases. There are 82 serotypes of strep pneumo. The most common disease-causing strains tend to be the resistant strains. The old pneumococcal vaccine is not all that great a vaccine. It does not so much prevent disease as probably prevent you from dying should you get it, which is not a bad outcome, lack of death. There's a newer pneumococcal vaccine that is given to children and targets the 7 most common invasive strains, which are also the strains most likely to be resistant to penicillin. The new vaccine, which is a conjugate vaccine, is superb and prevents disease in kids, as well as decreasing the number of kids who carry Streptococcus pneumoniae. The use of this vaccine in children has resulted in invasive disease plummeting in kids, and as a side effect, disease due to these strains has decreased in adults as well. It appears that kids are the vectors that serve as a source of infection in adults. Get rid of the carriage state in kids, you get rid of disease in adults. Unfortunately, one cannot autoclave your kids to prevent all infections. Giving the vaccine to kids has resulted in a decrease in disease in adults and an overall decrease in disease from resistant strains, which is a nice change of pace. Usually, when you try something new, you worry about the unintended bad consequences, since in medicine, no good deed ever goes unpunished. This is why I have not seen resistant strep pneumoniae for a while. It will be short-lived, however. The current ecological niche that used to be filled by resistant strains of strep pneumoniae is now being filled by strains that are not covered by the vaccine. And resistance, while not futile, is inevitable. Soon, the strains that are currently susceptible will become resistant as they're exposed to penicillin more frequently. See On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, or The Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life, by a guy named Darwin, for a complete explanation. However, for a short period of time, we have a vacation from resistant strep pneumoniae. All vacations end, and I want to go to Hawaii. A relevant reference for this particular Gobbet opus was from Vaccine 2006, Impact of Pediatric Vaccination with Pneumococcal Conjugate Vaccine on the Risk of Bacteremic Pneumococcal Pneumonia in Adults. That ends the Gobbet opus 84. Talk to you next time. Bye.